Water is our most important resource that we need for our survival. Most of us have grown up and live in an environment where water is very convenient. All you have to do is turn on a faucet and water is readily available to you. We have gotten so used to that convenience that it has become more of a need than a want to have access to running water in our homes. And we forget that at some point that might always not be available to us. There's multiple reasons why you may not have access to fresh, clean running water just by turning on a faucet. Maybe there are financial reasons that you're not able to pay your water bill. Maybe there is a weather related natural disaster. If something like that were to happen, getting water is going to be everybody's number one priority, or at least it should be. So it's really important for everybody, whether you plan to live off grid or not, to have the skills and the knowledge and some basic supplies to be able to provide yourself and your family with water to meet all of your daily needs. It could be the key to your survival, but at the very least, it is going to reduce your stress in an already extremely stressful situation. A few months ago, my family moved onto some raw land in Southwest Virginia, which means we have no water hookups. We have no electricity, and there were no structures on the property when we bought it. By far, our number one challenge while living here has been making sure that we have enough water to meet all of our needs and figuring out like the best solutions for that. So I'm going to take you around our property and show you everything that we are doing to meet our water needs without having access to public water where we just turn on the faucet. If you've always lived in a typical westernized house, you more than likely take for granted the convenience of being able to flush a toilet or run the dishwasher, run a load of laundry, turn on your garden hose and water your garden, water your yard. You don't realize how much water you actually use and need on a daily basis. So behind me here, you can see that we have built a water catchment system. We built a lean-to on our property for multiple reasons. One, because we have a couple of horses. This provides our horses shelter. And at the same time, we are catching all of the water off of this roof into these rain barrels. We are currently not drinking this water. We could if we ran it through some sort of filtration system, but right now this water is just being used to water our animals, our garden, and our laundry and showers. On our current setup, we have 5 55-gallon drums. So that means they can hold 275 gallons of water. Luckily, we live in the Virginia mountains, and this spring has been a very rainy spring, so we have been able to collect a lot of rainwater. We have a lot of animals, and horses alone can drink about 15 gallons of water a day. So these have been pretty necessary in order to make sure that our horses have enough water. Anything that's left over can go into the garden. It's always important to have a backup because this is reliant on weather and the rain, and sometimes we might have a drought and it doesn't rain enough. So for a backup, what we've done is we can take one of these barrels, a different barrel. We have a few extra. So we take a separate barrel and we hook it into the back of our truck, and we can go to a park down the road and we just use a hose and fill up that 55-gallon rain barrel, and we can bring it back here, and that'll last us several days with the animals and just all of our needs. We do plan on adding more water catchment systems. We are currently building a chicken coop, and we are going to probably put a rain barrel down there to catch the runoff from the chicken coop. We have an outdoor shower that we can catch water on. I've had to water the garden twice this year. It has been very rainy, so I haven't really had to worry about that. But the 2 times that I've had to water the garden, I have just gotten water out of these rain barrels and taken it down to our garden. Our garden is down at the bottom of our property, so I do have to haul it down there in a truck. Really, my goal with the garden is to create a garden that definitely doesn't need to be watered every day and is pretty self-sustainable. We do eventually plan on building a greenhouse down by the garden and having better water access down there. But for right now, we are just making do with what we have. The absolute number one thing that you need to make sure that you have is access to safe, clean drinking water. You should always have at least a few days on hand just in case there is an emergency, but you need to have even more if you are expecting a potential natural disaster, weather related event, or anything like that, where other people are going to go out and buy up all of the water. I know that when we were in Florida and it was hurricane season, we always had extra water because if there was a hurricane warning, then that was the first thing that the shelves were completely bare from water and you could not get water. It's also really important, besides bottled water that you get from the store, you need to think like, what if that is not available to you and you need to have another local source of fresh, clean drinking water. For us, there is a artesian spring right down the street from us, about a mile down the road, and we are able to get our drinking water from there. A lot of the local people get their drinking water from there too. When we were in Knoxville, there was a similar type of spring where people would just come and fill up big jugs of water and use that as their drinking water. There are places like that in a lot of areas. You just have to be observant of where people are filling up water when you're driving around and stuff, and just take note of some public places where people might be filling up water. You can also use the app iOverlander to find public water access. You want to make sure that you are finding potable water. That means that it is safe for human consumption. It is safe to drink. A lot of states and national parks have potable water where you can go and fill up drinking water if there's a campground or anything like that. You can also check out your local park and see if they have water spigots that are available for public use. You pay taxes, you are paying taxes on that park and that property, so therefore you should have access to that water as well. You can also have a water filtration system so that you can filter basically any water, rainwater, creek water, just any type of water that you find. We have a Berkey that we aren't currently using just because it honestly takes up counter space and we are in such a small area and we have access to some really fresh, clean artesian spring water. So we aren't currently using our Berkey, but we do have it in case we need it. And it filters basically, you can put super nasty, mucky water in there and it'll filter it out super clean. When we lived in Florida, the drinking water, even out of the tap, was pretty disgusting. It tasted so strong of chlorine, like you could just smell it. So I refuse to drink any sort of tap water in Florida, but we did filter it through the Berkey and it was completely safe and fine and it tasted great once we filtered it through the Berkey. And I'll put the link to the Berkey down below. The Berkey is pretty expensive. It does last a really long time. You do have to buy replacement filters every year or two, just depending on how well you take care of it and how much you use it. For us, it's worth it because I know that it's going to last us a really long time and I completely trust the system to filter out our water because we've been using it for so long. But if you can't afford to get that, then there are a lot of cheaper options that you can get just to have as a backup. If it's not something you're going to use and it's just going to be used in emergencies, just get something cheaper, like even like a plastic filter or something like that, that you can just have on hand just in case for emergencies. Something else you will want to plan for is how you're going to shower. We have built an outdoor shower, so we are able to take showers outside as long as it is at least semi-warm. We use water collected from our water catchment system, or sometimes we'll use water that we have gone and collected at the spring, and we will just come back and we have an on-demand hot water heater that will heat up our water. It takes a little bit of propane and a little tiny bit of electricity just to ignite the propane, and we have a nice hot shower. Our shower is not complete, but it is functional for right now. We plan on making it really cute and putting up some walls on the inside and some siding and putting up like a little walkway path to the shower, but the outdoor shower is very, very nice. It is something that we have always wanted, even when we were living in a regular house. When we were down in Florida, we wanted to build us a really nice outdoor shower because taking a shower outside with rainwater is just a really cool, relaxing, refreshing experience. There are a lot of other options for showering if you don't want to build a whole outdoor shower system. When we were traveling across the country off grid, we had a little hand shower pump that we were able to just heat up some water on the stove or even out in the sun, and you can shower yourself with this little hand pump and a little shower head. A lot of people will also get a gym membership. You can get a membership to Planet Fitness for like $10 to $15 a month and have access to as many showers as you want, plus you have a gym membership. While we were traveling, we realized that there were a lot of towns that actually have public showers, and they are anywhere from free to about $2. And then, of course, you can always go swimming in a creek or a lake or somewhere like that to rinse off. When you don't have running water, you also do not have a flushing toilet. When you have a limited amount of water, the thought of going pee into an entire bucket of water and then just flushing it seems extremely wasteful. The typical person uses quite a bit of water just going to the bathroom. So what our solution is, since we don't have an unlimited supply of water, is we use a composting toilet. There's several different types of composting toilets. You can either buy one that is ready to use and is like a composting toilet system, or you can even make your own, which is what we did. We decided to just make our own composting toilet. We did that actually for our camper just in general because we didn't want to deal with a black water tank. So we are living in an RV. We wanted our RV to be able to go off grid while we were traveling. So what we did is we just went ahead and removed the toilet and put in a composting toilet. The idea of a composting toilet is to separate the liquids from the solids. Pee is sterile, so you can dump that pretty much anywhere. We just dump that in a back corner of our property. And then your solids you need to be able to collect and dispose of in a sanitary way. Every county has different rules on how you can dispose of solid waste. You can take it to a dump station, or you can create a human manure pile and compost it yourself. Some counties do not allow this. So you have to kind of figure out what the rules are in your area if you are thinking about doing a composting toilet. You could also build an outhouse, and that way you don't have to separate the liquids and the solids, and it just all composts together. But that's just not something that we wanted to do on our property. For our composting toilet, what we have is we have a urine diverter and a bucket and a jug. We just got the urine diverter off of Amazon, and then it diverts into a jug, which we are actually using an old cat litter container. It fit really well into our setup. And then we also have a Home Depot bucket that we just line with composting bags. You can cover up your poo with different types of materials. We are using some cheap pine shavings. It's like $5 a bag, and it lasts us a really long time, couple months or so. The bag's compostable, and so are the pine shavings. If you take care of your composting setup, it actually does not smell bad. I am the one who takes care of all of the cleaning of the toilet and disposing of the waste. I don't mind it at all. It is something that I just deal with every day as part of my routine, and it's really not that big of a deal. You're also going to need water for cooking and doing dishes. Now, for cooking, we use our drinking water, and generally I do for dishes as well. There's not really a whole lot to say with the cooking. Cooking has kind of been the same for us being off grid. We're just kind of a little bit more conscious of our water usage when cooking, a little bit more efficient. Like if I need hot water, a lot of times I'll just boil a big pot of water and put it in a thermos and keep it close by, so that way if I ever need hot water, I have hot water throughout the day and I'm not constantly having to heat up water. For doing dishes, it's just trying to conserve as much water as possible. I will say that that is probably my least favorite task is doing dishes. We cook a lot from scratch. And when we do build our house, I will say that I am going to require a dishwasher because I am not a fan of doing dishes. Nobody really is. We all hate doing dishes. You're also going to have to do laundry, and laundry actually is something that requires a lot more water than you think. So we don't have a washer and dryer. So I actually go and I go to the laundromat about twice a month and I just do a couple huge loads of laundry. In between going to the laundromat, I will hand wash some stuff and just hang it out in the sun to dry. I actually don't mind hand washing laundry. It's kind of enjoyable. I don't have any special equipment. I literally just use a bin with water and my hands, and I wring it out by hand and I wash it by hand, and I just use the same soap that I put into the washing machine. But it does take a lot of time to hand wash clothes, and it basically is an entire day off and on when I do hand wash clothes. But it does get us through 2 weeks of being able to reuse a few things, and we hand wash our favorite outfits and our favorite things to wear. And then I will just save up laundry and go to the laundromat to get them extra clean, because the system that I have set up where I'm just doing it all by hand, I have no special equipment or anything like that. It doesn't get it super clean. I still need to use the laundromat. But we are working on building a house, and we are going to have a washer and dryer in our house. So we could set up like an outdoor laundry setup, but it's not worth it, because in the long run, we are going to have like a house with a full on washer and dryer setup. But just knowing how to hand wash some laundry, and even like in your sink or something like that, you can just do that and then hang out in the sun to dry. I'll plan to do laundry when I know it's going to rain so we don't run out of water. If you're curious about how we are living off grid without electricity, you can check out this video right here. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching.